Imagine the world of having a computer spit out an image when you simply tell it exactly what you want, or give it an idea of what you want and let it use its imagination. As a self-publisher, we need images. When we create books, for example, like this book, Count the Dinosaurs, we need dinosaur images. When we create this book here to make a coloring book, we need these cute kawaii looking images so we can create a coloring book. We also need images so we can create the cover of a book. For example, this guest book, we need these images. Where do we get these images? We simply create these images ourselves, or we hire someone to do them, or we go to a site that is known for allowing us or is specifically built for people to put their images up there and allow us to buy a commercial license, meaning we can use that image in our own works to make money, and we have that license to do so. So this video is really about AI and the world of copyright and how and what this entails as we move forward in the world of artificial intelligence, creating these images that before we either created ourselves or hired someone to create them for us, or we went to sites where they had very specific licensing agreements that we would agree to, that then we could then take that license and then share it if we were to publish on Amazon KDP or even Etsy, giving us, I'll just say, a little bit of protection or a little bit of an idea of what we needed to provide when we were asked if we owned the image. Check this out. This is inside of my Midjourney account. I've created and I've shared here on the channel some of these images and some of the ideas and the thoughts that I've had about using these images to create coloring books. But it really expands upon this, or you need to expand upon this idea in your thinking, because in the world of self-publishing and the realm of creating a book, creating an image, creating a physical product with images on them, images rule everything, and where and how we get those images and the licenses that we have for those images. For example, here's the community showcase over at Midjourney. These are shared publicly. Midjourney shares these. They even share the prompt that created them. So the combination of the image being public and the prompt being public, meaning you can take this prompt and you can create your image based upon what someone else has already created, or their thoughts and their ideas and what the AI gave them. And then you're able to look at that and say, that is what I was looking for. How do I instruct the AI to do the same thing for me, to not get the exact same thing, but something very similar? Again, Midjourney, art in the age of artificial intelligence. This is their page. Midjourney.org is curated by Fraud Monet, a sentient AI digi-poacher that became self-aware in 2022. Now, this brings me to going over to Midjourney. This is where really you, as a person that is going to be a publisher or a self-publisher or create something using AI and then wanting to make money from it, you are going to have to understand these terms of services, even to the point of getting a lawyer or understanding that you need a legal person or someone that is versed and vetted to give you advice. Because obviously, like this channel, I'm just like you. I'm an independent self-publisher trying to figure out this world, trying to look at all the information that's available to me and figure out how I can do business on Amazon KDP or Etsy. And I use those examples because they're the two biggest platforms, specifically where people have copyright issues. So you take this Midjourney documentation, terms of service. You simply go down to copyright and trademark, and you understand the rights that you give to Midjourney, and then you understand your rights. Subject to the license above, you own all assets you create with the services. This does not apply if you fall under the exceptions below. The exceptions here are if you're a non-paid member. If you use the free service that Midjourney provides you, you do not have exclusive rights to use those and or make money from them, according to what Midjourney is telling you. Now, there are other things behind Midjourney. Midjourney uses an engine that creates the actual art itself, the diffusion engine, the parts and the pieces, the technology that actually goes out, discovers the images on the internet, and then takes the prompt that you give it and then creates that image, that art that is in your mind. And then as you give the AI instructions, it creates art based upon what it's learned about all the art out on the internet. That has a very specific license. And that license and those agreements are all here inside of the Midjourney documentation, to include dispute resolution and governing law. And that's really where we get into the idea of when you create something and you sell it and you post it on Amazon KDP or you post it on Etsy, are you violating the law, or are you just violating what KDP or Etsy deems is appropriate for their platform? Which brings me to a very, very important article. As of creating this video, New York City artist granted first known registered copyright for AI art. This article talks about an artist in New York City that has been granted an actual registered, or was able to register a copyright for artwork that they made, and the book itself, which is a graphic novel titled Zara of the Dawn, made using the commercial AI art generator Midjourney. Understand that is the full official title. When you go through this article, it lays out all the details to include the information that you see here. This is an Instagram post from the author. This is the cover of the book, Zara of the Dawn. It actually includes the term Midjourney. It was very deliberate of the way she did this, and she stated that she wanted to make sure that people understood that she created this art from Midjourney, and she wanted to share the fact that it was created with Midjourney. She's not hiding that it was created with Midjourney. She published it, and then she was approved, and she was given this certificate of registration for the work of art that she created, her book, her publication, the fact that she created it with Midjourney, and she is given, or she has been given, copyright, exclusive rights to the fact that she owns, or she is the producer or creator of this content through Midjourney and utilizing artificial intelligence. But it also brings up an important point here on Creative Blog. The first copyrighted AI art uncannily looks like Zendaya. Zendaya is a famous actress in the US. They go into the information here about how this image looks a lot like, or is a very, very close representation, or it really looks like that famous actress. But again, understand she was given copyright to this. Copyright to the fact that she created these images using the AI, and they recognized it. Now, there had been a precedence before, and it had been said that US copyright law only gives copyright to these types of things to humans, or arts of work or creations that are created by humans. But this precedent has moved past that statement, and she has been given copyright to this work of art, to this thing she has created, this publication, this book that she has created. And she was very deliberate in the fact that she mentioned that this work of art was created using Midjourney and artificial intelligence. But this also goes to a bigger question that I talked about at the beginning of this video, that we as self-publishers, we need images. When we create those books, we get those images. We either purchase those images from someone and we get those rights, or we go to sites like, for example, Getty Images, which has now banned AI-generated content. As stated here, effective immediately, Getty Images will cease to accept all submissions created using AI models, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E 2, Midjourney, etc., and prior submissions utilizing such models will be removed. Which at this point brings me back to the simple fact that we need images. If we publish on Amazon KDP, if we create something and we want to sell it on Etsy, we simply need to go to Amazon, we need to go to KDP, and we need to read and make sure we understand the updates that they are putting in, just like Getty did, and make sure that they are not just saying across the board, no AI generated images, but also understand the intellectual property rights by reading these frequently asked questions. Understand Amazon's copyright, or their definition of what is a copyright. Read that and make sure that it is something that you understand, and you understand the way that they understand it. And if you have questions, you need to reach out and you need to ask Amazon about it. But also understand that this is their current stance. Can you review rights documentation for a book I'm about to submit for publication so that I do not have to provide it later on? Their answer: at this time, we are unable to accept documentation unless we request it. Upon submission of your book, we will contact you if we need additional information. Amazon's stance is, you want to publish a book, you create that book, you publish it, but make sure that you own everything that you use to create that book, meaning you have proof that you own it using the current laws, the current rights that are available to you, meaning you can prove that you purchased it, or you prove that you generated that. In the case of AI, that you generated it using a platform, and that platform has a license that specifically says you can use that content and you have some way to prove that. Because if you were to go over to Etsy and check out their intellectual property policy, you're going to see that this is very similar. They take it seriously, and people are able to report the things that you put up if they feel that their intellectual property rights have been violated in any way, or you're using something that they created. So think about that in the world of AI when you're using something like the platform over at Midjourney. If you've paid to use the service, and you have the private section where you create your arts of work and they're not shared publicly, then most likely you have proof, but you will need to actually think about, how am I going to collect this information? Just like I do currently, if you use something like Creative Fabrica or you use something like Getty Images, you have their license, they give you a license, you have the agreement, you download that content, you make sure that you put the license in that content, the date that you downloaded it. If you were to alter it in any way, you make sure you document those changes and those alterations so you can prove that it's something you've created, or it's a piece of work that you've created based upon the work that you had the rights to use and or change. And this is the same thing in the world of AI. You simply just have to think about what people are saying now, because just recently the US stance was, we do not issue copyright to things or arts of work, pieces of work, arts of work, creations from anything other than humans. And then as of this video, I was able to find that article, and you saw where they had actually been issued copyright from the US government stating that the work of art and the creation, that book, that graphic novel, actually is copyrighted because they presented it in a manner of saying that I created this using Midjourney, using artificial intelligence. I want to have this recognized, that it belongs to me because I put the effort, the time, and energy in using that tool. The tool created it for me, but it is my creation using that tool. Honestly, I think this is the way it's going to work going forward. If you can show the tool that you used, how you used it, and the fact that you paid to use that privately and you are not sharing this publicly over on Midjourney, then it does belong to you. But again, this is just my opinion, and this is going to be something that's huge in the world of self-publishing, because now we have this thing. We have this artificial intelligence out there that is learning. It's looking at everything that is out there on the internet, and it is learning how to draw. It is learning how to create images. It is getting smarter as you give it more information. It learns your style, the style you're looking for. And as you create, I think things will get more and more unique. The lines will be blurred, but as long as you are documenting it along the way, and you were doing like what you saw here, where they took that and they clearly stated that this is a piece of work that I created using this tool over at Midjourney, they are going to recognize that you put in the time, you put in the effort, and it does belong to you, and no one else should be able to copy it. It also opens up a world of creating art that is recognized and known, that was created by a computer and artificial intelligence. And I think this opens up a world of being able to publish, in my opinion, a book or creations where you could specifically say, just like they did, this is AI generated art. You don't try to hide the fact that it isn't AI generated. You don't try to pass it off as human created art, because I think there's going to be a clear distinction between human generated art and AI generated art until it gets to the point where that is blurred to the point that you can't tell the difference. But right now, as of making this video, there definitely is a difference in my opinion. So just make sure that you're straightforward, upfront about it, and I don't think you're going to have any problems going forward. It's going to be more of an issue of, does this image do what I need it to do? If I'm creating a book or a cover for a book, does the image look like something that someone would want to buy? Because at the end of the day, when we're creating a book and a cover, we want that cover to reflect what that book is about. If we are creating a children's book and they need dinosaurs, do we want the dinosaurs to be realistic, or do we want them to be cartoons? If we are creating a coloring book, does the AI create a high quality image that we can use that satisfies when the person bought this coloring book? Is it for kids? Does it satisfy the kid? When the kid purchases it, is the kid happy? Is the parent or the grandparent or the person that bought it for that kid happy? That's all that really matters at the end of the day when we're talking about self-publishing books. Because for me, it's not about the art and keeping it human versus computer. It's about the thing that I create, the thing that I put out for sale, and the person that bought it from me is happy with the end product that I created as a self-publisher. Again, that's my opinion, and that's just where I fall right now as of this video. I'm not so much concerned about the legality and the copyright situation. Of course, I have to be worried about it on Amazon, KDP, and or Etsy, or any other platform where I sell, or even if I sell it from my own site, that I don't infringe upon someone else's intellectual property. And if they come after me for that, I have to make sure that I can protect myself and my business, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing in the world of self-publishing. We are creating things and we are sharing it with the world, and we're doing it to make money. That is my stance. That is what this channel is about. I would love to hear your comments in the comment sections about this whole range of using artificial intelligence to create art, or using artificial intelligence to create something that we can use as self-publishers to sell, that makes sure that we are creating something that is unique and something that really gives value and satisfaction to the people when they buy the product. Again, let me know in the comments what you think about that specifically, and also anything and what you're doing in the world of AI and how it impacts directly you and your self-publishing business. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.